Do you ever wonder what is intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number? The traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community. A community not part of the mainstream, unconventional, peripheral, or extreme. Part of an anthology, a published collection of poems or other pieces of writing. This is Esoteric Lore. I'm your host, Edward Aponte, where I push you to ponder the fringes of folklore. The principal aim of Buddhism is to put an end to suffering, and so its adepts are offered a course of mental culture designed to lead them to this eminently desirable end. This program implies, first of all, and that as a principle, the necessity of holding views that are true, for indeed, if views are based on erroneous beliefs, then even with the best intentions, the results obtained will be unfortunate. Real knowledge is a highly subjective thing, since knowledge which others can impart to us is not in effect real for us. Real knowledge is that which is born of our flesh and our spirit, that which is due to the experiences of our senses coupled with reasoning. Valid and efficient knowledge results from observations whose correctness has been confirmed by repeated proof. It follows from this that the true view, which results from right knowledge, can be obtained only by the assiduous practice of vigilant attention. To what must attention be directed? It must be directed to all manner of things, to the material facts we discover around us, to the mental activity we discern in others, concepts, opinions, passions, in all their forms and manifestations. However, this continual attention must be, above all, directed toward ourselves. We must watch carefully our reactions to various contacts made by our senses and our spirit with our environment. We must catch, as it were, upon the wing, the various manifestations of our physical and mental activities, hold them and interrogate them. Whence did you come? What endangered you? What are your parents? What farther away than your parents can one discover to the jumble of our ancestors? A problem often set to the disciples by the masters of the sect of meditation is framed thus: what visage do you possess before your father and mother were born? The Zen adepts say that this problem may refer to the succession of existence, to what in popular language are called reincarnations. And when again the problem may refer to the origin of the appearance of those phenomena that constitute the world. But without losing ourselves in the formulation of hypotheses, fruits of our imagination, a vain task against which Buddhism warns us, we must learn to untangle the skein of the multivarious causes whose temporary contact has brought about effects which we can observe in ourselves and around us. These causes do not meet and mingle by mere chance. They themselves were subjected to the influence of other causes which guided them. These directing causes are not, moreover, solely exterior. They may be due to the particular nature of the elements operating in the aggregate. That is to say, in the case, our own person itself. Buddhists are often heard to speak of the memory, which an individual may retain concerning his former incarnations. Numerous writings of the Jataka type describe in detail episodes of the successive lives of humans, divine or even animal figures, which are stated to have been the Buddha preparing himself during the course of his various existences to attain the degree of moral and mental perfection and of acuity of perception indispensable for the production of spiritual illumination. Many eminent Buddhists have been furnished with genealogies of this kind. In Tibet, the lamas, known as tulkus, whom foreigners call most improperly living Buddhas, are held to be links in the chain of incarnations of a single person. Indeed, according to this belief, each one of us, before his birth into this world, has accomplished a long journey of transmigration from body to body, and sometimes from world to world. This belief, which is held by most of the ignorant Buddhists, is, however, a flagrant contradiction with the fundamental principles of Buddhism. The belief is borrowed from the Hindu idea concerning the jiva, the principle of individuality that undergoes transmigration from body to body. The famed Indian epic, the Vedas, offers a vivid illustration of this doctrine. Quote, "Just as a man puts off his old clothing to put on new, so also that which is incarnated puts off his old bodies to assume new ones." End quote. How, we may ask, could such a conception find place in a teaching which proclaims the transitory nature of all associations of elements, and which denies that there's any permanent principles at all? Jiva, Deli, soul, spirit, ego, or whatever name we may choose to give it. Impermanence, absence of ego, everywhere, in all things, that is the Buddhist creed. This creed is not presented by Buddhism as emanating from any revelation, but as a fruit of a discovery, of a knowledge acquired by means of attention or sustained investigation. It was by examination and by reflection and meditation that the Buddha attain spiritual illumination. And each one of us may attain it by using the same means. What then is the rebirth, as it is conceived by well-informed and enlightened Buddhists? It is made up of the persistent activity of an energy that is manifested in different forms by virtue of a combination of causes and effects. What I think of us as myself, or as my very self, as a unit, as a person, as an ego, in reality, an unstable aggregate of elements, an aggregate of lives, one may say deriving from various sources and momentarily united and active. The activity of the various elements entering into a composition of the aggregate is not always exercised in cooperation, nor always in the same time. While some may seem numbered, the vitality of others may, by manifestation with violence, some tend towards one end, while others tend to a different end, or to one diametrically opposed. Hence results mental conflicts, those rending divisions in our being when we feel urged to action by instincts, by desires that are conflicting and contradictory. Sustained attention and investigations will show us that we are not a unit, but a plurality, that we shelter temporarily guests of varying origins, come from all points of the universe, and as the lengthy consequence of intermingled causes and effects, and without our being able to assign to them any original starting point. It is written in the Samyutta, quote, "Unknowable is the beginning of that long pilgrimage of beings enveloped in ignorance and who, spurred on by desires, carry on the round of rebirths and of lives renewed without ceasing." End quote. Buddhism does not explain the origin of the world and of sentient beings. Buddhism is addressed to men who reject mythological tales and empty speculation regarding the origin of the universe. Indeed, it would seem that in this matter of the cause of the universe's origin, and in the more restricted field of that of the appearance of life on our earth, Western scientists are much in the same opinion as the Indian sages, and those who long before had sung in the hymns of the Rig Veda, quote, "Who knoweth whence this creation has come? He whose throne is higher than the heaven may know and may not know." End quote. If Buddhism leaves on one side the problem of the first cause, nevertheless the Buddhist is exhorted to discern the nature of the elements which make up what he calls his self. He is encouraged to follow up as far as possible the line of cause and effect which has contributed to the constitution of these elements and have led to this momentary union. Buddhists are recommended to watch with sustained attention the behavior of these diverse elements, their friendly or unfriendly relations to one another, the help that they give each other mutually, and the conflicts which occur between them. A clear view of these various activities which occur within him will explain to the observer his changes of temper, his revulsions of opinion, and the diversity of the acts which thus ensue. In truth, each supposed ego is a meeting place where jostles about a crowd that comes and goes continually from many roads. For members of this crowd are constantly on the move to join other crowds at other meeting places of universal life. It is an excellent thing to attain this vision of union in diversity, to feel others live in ourselves and to perceive ourselves living in others. Thus, myself and yourself have lived in interdependence without perceptible beginnings, and thus we shall continue to exist without any conceivable end. This is the same on the human scale, as eternal life made up of continual deaths and continual rebirths. Should we be content with this conception, however justified it may be, and consider it as the expression of truth with a capital T. A capital T. If you like this video, please subscribe, share, and give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.